Hi, everybody. Sharona here on another live episode of Conversations That Matter Most. And I'm here with my partner and my co pilot, uh, Claudette.
Hi, everyone. So glad to be here. I'm so happy to be here with you, Sharona. I love this and being with you. We have a lot of fun together, don't we?
I think, yes, I agree. It always makes my heart happy. My heart sing, my feet dance, and my spirit soar. So yes, we're gonna go grooving through this. So today's episode is entitled "Shame and Guilt: The Drivers of Slow Self-Esteem." And for those who are joining us again, thank you for being part of our community. And for those who are new to Conversations That Matter Most, what we're about is Claudette and I like to share topics that we think are important, and that it's a way for you, our listeners and our viewers, to find stepping stones to have these conversations within your family, in your community. And we love to hear from what your thoughts are. It's not about if you agree or disagree. It's more about just tools for you to have deeper conversations in your life. Anything else you want to add with that to that, Claudette?
Nah, you summed it up really nicely. And we often have conversations, but they're conversations that more superficial. And, we just wanted to have a platform to help people think about for themselves. Well, do I agree? Would I do this? Or how would I react? Or how do in certain situations? So it's not a matter of comparing or better or worse. It's a matter of self-reflection. And Sharona and I enjoy these conversations, and we're hoping they'll inspire you in getting you to do some self-reflection and have conversations with people that matter most to you.
Yes, yes. And, let's talk a little bit about what we do, and who we are, and why we're here today. Well, we already talked about why we're here today, but let's talk about who we are. So my name is Sharona. My name is Sharona, and I am a midlife women dancing with change specialist. And what I'm about is, and what my focus is, and what my uh, for a better term, passion is leading women, supporting women struggling with this midlife wackadilly thing, and helping them not just survive in midlife, but really thrive wholeheartedly in body, mind, and spirit. One action step at a time. Not doing it all for not, all for one, and all, we're all together in it, but we're not going to do it all at one time. So that's what I'm about. How about you, Claudette? What are you all
And that,
about?
and I love that you use the word wackadilly, right?
Because it is wackadilly.
So my name is It is. Isn't it a lot of wackadilly? My name is Claudette Chenevert, and I'm known as the stepmom coach. And I work with stepmoms who want to build and create stronger and healthier step families. And to do that in a way that it doesn't mean you have to sacrifice who you are as an individual, but to add to this family. Because we all know being in this total being in it, give you the strategies, the steps to help you move from surviving to thriving, very similar to what Sharona does. And I too like to do it one step at a time, because there's no way you can do everything all at the same time. So Sharona and I both believe in taking one step at a time to doing the transformation, the changes you want in your life. And so that's one of the reasons we're together, because we have a philosophy of helping people getting to where they want without overwhelming you with a whole bunch of things.
And one of the things that as I've been doing this for a while, one of my philosophies is really learning to live and thrive on a daily basis. A lot of times we have a tendency of trying to get the whole picture done today, but all we have to take care of is today. What's in front of me right now? What do I need to address and take care of? And so today's episode is about shame and guilt. And for a lot of us, a lot of the shaming came when we were young, because somehow we didn't fit an image of what a woman, a girl, a female was supposed to be. And through our lives, we bring in we hear those voices, and we hear shame, and we hear guilt, and and it slowly eats away and drives our self-esteem down. And I found the wonderful researcher and author Brene Brown had a very simple definition of the difference between shame and guilt. And shame is, I'm the mistake. Guilt is, I made a mistake. And I just find that I go, oh, that makes, because I was looking at definitions online, and I found that a lot of times guilt is in shame and shame is in guilt. And I'm thinking, no, in our bodies, in our psychic, in our emotions, for me, that feels simple, easy to understand. Guilt is, I made a mistake. Shame is, I am the mistake. What do you?
Yeah, and I love that you made the distinction. I love Brene Brown. I've taken some of her classes, and when she came, that made like, oh yes, now I get it. And and I'll speak for myself and some of the clients I've worked with. A lot of the shame came from our younger lives, came from hearing people saying, "What are you doing? Like, you feel little." And so, I think part of it is making you feel little, making you feel invisible, shrinking you into size. Guilt is more about like, oh my God, I did this. How can I ever walk with my head up high, right? And I see this a lot in step families, especially with bio moms and dads. Their dads are taking care of their kids. They may not see them all the time, and they're thinking, oh, guilty. But they're not saying that, but they're acting out in a guilty way where they'll give everything to their kids with no boundaries.
Right.
They're going to, say yes to everything, but no to, and that's not healthy. Feeling guilty is doing things are not okay, but to buy peace.
Right.
In order to get peace, you'll just do it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we feel guilty about all kinds of things because again, it comes from this place. At least when I work with and I'm working with midlife women, there is a guilt and a shame that somehow we did not live up to what we thought we were supposed to live up to as women.
Or living up to someone else's expectation of what we were supposed to be or do, right?
Right, yeah.
Not even our own expectation, someone else's expectation of what our job was, of what we were supposed to do, or of just being, right?
Right. And so we feel shame about our, and I think shame also kind of ties into that same feeling of not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough, whatever that enough is. And, or I'm too tall, too short, too round, too dark, too light, too, whatever the two twos of life. Um, and yet, so we carry that. And to overcompensate that, we'll do behaviors and things like, I think that drives us to become perfectionists. We got to get it perfectly right. I have to do it perfectly right. I have to follow it this way. This is how it's always been done. And yet we don't sit there and going, wait a minute, what is there? What am I really ashamed of?
Mm-hmm.
What am I really ashamed of? And what am I really guilty of? I mean, if you went out and intentionally caused harm to another human being, I would understand feeling guilty about that. If you went in and robbed a bank, I would feel guilty about that. But when I'm going in a grocery store and I accidentally, right, if I accidentally run into somebody else's shopping cart, it was an accident. Why do I take on this whole guilt thing and shame? Oh, I made a mistake. And that's the thing, is that, again, just because I made a mistake, just because I failed or wasn't as successful as I thought it was, doesn't mean I'm the failure, and it doesn't mean that I'm the mistake. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And I think it's important to understand, in life, we're always, that's how we learn, right?
Right.
But making a mistake and having that come and whittle away at our self-esteem, that's not okay. So, there are mistakes that we make that, they're normal everyday mistakes. But making a mistake at your kid because they didn't do something, you're making someone else feeling guilty, and you're going to feel guilty the same way. The thing is, you can repair that. You can make changes to that. It's not something that is permanent. As long as you do something to feeling of guilt, of shame, and so let's go back to that yelling to your kid thing, or yelling at someone, right? The person who is yelling to the other will feel guilt, depending on the word you use. You can make that other person feel shameful. Mm-hmm. And so it's a double-edged sword, right? So, for example, as I grew up, one of the things that, I would hear was that I was stupid. Or I did stupid things. But, I would interpret it as I'm stupid.
Right.
So, the person saying you did a stupid thing will feel at some point guilty about saying, oh, why did I say that? But the person receiving that message may be saying, oh my God, I'm stupid. I'm not good enough. And so they're feeling shameful for being stupid, which is, not okay. So, to try to come and look at our actions, our words, our message is really important, because we're talking to someone else. Yourself, what is it that I want to accomplish by saying or doing those things, right? And what's the impact it's going to have on the other person?
And that, that's so true, because a lot of times when we are feeling shame and guilt within ourselves because of who we are or what we did, we then try to discharge it in a very toxic way. So we'll spiel it out to somebody else. Well, throw it like, because I'm feeling this, I'm going to just spew on you, and then it just makes it all go wonky. So here's a couple things that I wanted to put out there. You know, for some of us, we know we feel shame and fear, shame and guilt, but we don't know what it really feels like in our body. So, when you're feeling shameful, what's the sensations in your body, and what are the thoughts that you're having? And I like to go back to, because I went through that too, Claudette, where um, I was told many a time that not only was I stupid, but I was weird. All my life, that I was stupid, I was weird. And so my whole life was trying to not look stupid and not look weird. Well, I can't help it. I am just me. And I might do wacky things. It's because of who I am. Okay. So I had to learn what shame felt like. So for me, what shame feels like in my body, it feels like my heart is closing down, and everything I get. And I think you talked about this, of getting small. I feel so tiny, so small. I sometimes, and this is, I don't even want to take a deep breath because of the shame I feel. So I'm learning that. Guilt, on the other hand, feels very different in my body. Guilt feels more of in my head, um, in my gut. I knew something. My intuition somehow kicks in, that I go, wait, this is not kosher. We got to do something else about this. So that's something you can, start. You might not be knowing that you're feeling shame or guilt, but feel when something comes up, ask yourself, what is the sensation in my body that I'm feeling this right now? So that's something I wanted to throw out there. Yeah. And then the other thing is,
Yeah, and I like that you. So I just want to add to what you said about, the feelings, about feeling small. The other feeling like I get when I feel like I'm ashamed is a wall.
mm,
I'm putting up a wall, a brick wall that is very thick, so that I'm not letting anybody inside my myself. So I'm adding more layers of protection each time. Well, the only thing it really does is from being right. I'm hiding. I'm hiding behind a facade.
yep, yep.
And so I think it's important to understand the feelings we're going through in our bodies whenever we're having or hearing someone tell us anything, whether it's a parent, a relative, or a spouse. It could be an ex-spouse, like an ex-wife, an ex-husband. It could be your stepkids. What is that emotion, that feeling that's inside of you, and what do you want to do about it once you decide what it is?
I think that's what is it that, what are you feeling? Name it, recognize it, acknowledge it, and then I think the next part is take action with it. Write about it, talk about it. Might not be with that person that just you had that conversation with or was talking to you, but I think a lot of times again, I like that wall thing, is we start wanting to slink away. We want to hide. We don't want to show who we really are out of shame and guilt. So find ways to deal with that when you feel it. And I think take it out of the closet, bring it out. There's a saying, we are as sick as our secrets. Sometimes we got to find someone we trust to share the secret stuff that we buried away, because we think we buried it away, but it's still driving us. You know, those little pieces of us that we feel ashamed and guilty about, we need to bring it out and talk to somebody. It could be, you know, a therapist, or it could be someone like Claudia and I, who work with people who, you know, to set, you know, acknowledge that you're feeling this, and then finding ways to support you to move through it. Does that, so those are some things that you might want to do. Anything else you want to add to that, Claudette?
Yeah, definitely. So I love that you know, talked about whereas healthy as or as sick as our secrets. And we tend to keep secrets thinking that no one's going to love us if they actually know who we are, right?
Right, right.
And they see that in different areas, whether you're life women, you know, seeing ourselves as, you know, not good enough or not up to standard of someone else.
Yeah.
And that's often in our own heads. That's stories we've created in our own heads.
Yes.
The importance, I think, is, you know, opening up, right?
Right.
We need to open up. We need to have these conversations, have what you're going through, right?
Yes. And I think one of the things is it's about being honest with yourself, being authentic with yourself. You know, other people's feelings are not your business. How other people feel is not your job to fix it. All you need to do is honor your feelings, honor, you know, what pain or shame or joy or whatever, and then share that, saying, you know, right now I'm feeling some old shame is coming up. I need to, you know, process this. We can get back to this conversation. Or, you know, saying, you know, when I hear those kind of words, it brings up old shame. You know, can we talk in a different way? Can we talk to each other in a different way? And I think the other, and then, you know, so be authentic with your feelings. Be willing to share what you need to share for your sanity, for your esteem, for your health and well-being. And also be open-minded, you know, open-minded about who you are. And I think the last thing I like to add in there is forgive. You're a human being. Even us midlife women, we try to be super women. Sweeties, we are human beings.
It's true, right? We're all human beings. And, you know, midlife, stepmoms, stepkids, we're all human beings. And we need to give ourselves a break and understand that, you know, we're not perfect. And the shame that you may be feeling in your body is, ask yourself that question. Is it really honest truth about who I am?
Mm-hmm.
And then talk about this and say, you know what? This is how I see myself. I see myself as stupid. Is that true? Or I see myself as an incompetent stepmom. I see myself as an unworthy. I see myself in, you know, a midlife woman who's not successful. Like, hey, I see myself as a failure. Ask yourself if that's true. And most of the time it's not.
Yeah, most of the time it's, I think, the stories we tell ourselves, because for many, you know, as midlife women for many, many years, we have been collecting evidence to prove how wrong we are. And now one of the things you might want to do, just a suggestion, you know, don't have to, but you might want to start collecting evidence to show that you're worthy, you're lovable, you're good enough, you're enough. just as you are today,
Yeah.
you're enough. So as we wrap up today's episode, Claudette, is there anything you want to add?
Well, I that, there's help for you, and don't be alone. If you're feeling like this, as Sharona explained, what it feels like, that wall, that unworthiness, don't stay alone. Don't be in your shell. Reach out and ask for help. Maybe a friend, maybe a colleague, and we would love to help you. So if you're a stepmom and you're feeling stuck in your step family relationship and you want some support and help, I would love to talk with you. And you can go to stepmomcoach.com and find some resources and support to help you move. So how can midlife women find support and help in dealing with shame and guilt?
Thanks, Claudette. And you can find me at Sharona at dancingwithchange2thrive.com. The website is dancingwithchange2thrive.com. On Facebook and Google Plus, on it's Midlife Women Dancing with Change, and on Twitter and LinkedIn, it's at Dancing with Change, and consult Sharona. And again, if you're a midlife woman, okay, my tongue got tied there for a moment, and you're struggling with old shame and guilt, and you're tired of it, and you want to, really thrive in your life now as you move forward ahead in time, contact me, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you find ways to deal with the past, to let it go, and so that you can thrive today and onward. And for all our viewers today, again, leave a comment. How was this for you, listening and hearing ideas and tips? Share with you what make a comment below and let us know. And also subscribe, so that way you get to keep on top of upcoming shows and events. And also, we have a library now of past episodes, so peruse and share anything. So I want to thank everybody today. And Claudette, thank you once again for another fun and inspiring and informative episode of Conversations That Matter Most. And
thank you so much, Sharona. Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.